Good morning. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd. This is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Andrew Garcia. The temperature's rising on this third day of early voting. Highs are going to reach the upper 80s to low 90s. All of this warm weather looks to continue through the week, through the weekend, and into next week as well. Sorry for all of you fall cold weather lovers. You might have to keep the sweaters in the closet for just a little bit longer. Let's get into today's news. Dallas City Council will decide today whether or not to withhold $248,000 worth of funding from Dallas Black Dance Theater. The theater came under fire after firing its entire dance company over what they say was an unauthorized Instagram video. Others believe it was retaliation for unionizing. Branch Out Dallas and the Texas Trees Foundation aim to plant more trees to combat the effects of climate change, and they're recruiting volunteers for help. Volunteers will plant oak, elm, and other species of trees that the Texas Tree Foundation will manage for the first 3 years to make sure they're healthy. Early voting started this week for the election, and there's more on the ballot than just the president and U.S. senator. KERA's Collin County reporter Caroline Love recently sat down with KERA's Justin Martin to give us a breakdown on the key races in that area.
So, Caroline, what are you keeping an eye on?
Yeah, so, there's an interesting Texas House race in Collin County. House District 70 is one of the few competitive races in the entire state. Representative Mahela Plisa won the seat with less than 900 votes 2 years ago. She was also the first Democrat elected to the state house from Collin County in decades. Governor Greg Abbott has said Republicans can flip this district. And I talked to Cal Jilson about this. He's a political science professor at Southern Methodist University. He says campaigning in a moderate district like this requires a different strategy, including toning down a lot of the rhetoric we often hear from Texas Republicans.
You have a lot of Republicans campaigning in red districts that can swing from the chandeliers. They can do all of the talking points, all of the stolen election stuff, all of that, and not worry about it.
He says the same thing is true for Democrats running in moderate districts. Plisa is emphasizing her efforts to work across the aisle during her term.
I have a bipartisan record to run on, and I'm proud of that bipartisan record. That's what Texas should look like.
She's also campaigning on issues Democrats think they can win on. That includes increased funding for public education and abortion access. The Republican candidate Steve Kennard has emphasized he's not a politician, but he has taken some stances that are popular among Republicans. He talked about his stance on abortion at a recent candidate forum at Prestonwood Baptist Church.
I stand unapologetically for life.
Kennard also says he's in favor of what Abbott refers to as school choice. He told me parents should have the right to decide what's best for their child's education.
So let's focus a little more on the education issue. How is that playing out in Collin County?
Education is a big priority in the region. Plano ISD decided to close 4 schools earlier this year because of budget constraints. The superintendent said the district needs more money from the state. And there was a bill to increase funding for public schools during the last legislative session, but it died after the governor's education plan failed to pass. The program would have allowed families to use state funds for private school tuition. Abbott refers to this as school choice, and the Democrats call it school vouchers. And Abbott has made it clear that getting his education plan passed is a big priority for this upcoming session. He backed several primary challengers who ran against Republicans that voted against his plan last session. A lot of Republicans are campaigning on this issue. Carissa Richardson had this to say at the Prestonwood Candidate Forum. She's the Republican nominee for Texas House District 61.
I want every parent to be able to choose whether their child will succeed and grow and prosper and learn best in homeschool, public school, private school, charter school, whatever is best for that child.
But many Democrats say it's not possible to pay for vouchers and fully fund public education.
I'm curious, how are schools in Collin County coping with this lack of funding increase?
Well, Plano ISD isn't the only district in North Texas that has closed campuses because of budget constraints. And Frisco ISD has put a $1.1 billion bond and a tax increase on the ballot for this election. The district says the money is to keep up with inflation and pay for updates to aging campuses.
And how long is early voting going to last?
The last day to cast your ballot early in Collin County is November 1st, and Election Day is November 5th.
That was KERA's Caroline Love and Justin Martin. Enjoy watching a game of pickleball at the Southwest Community Center in Fort Worth. Games are co-ed and start at 6:30. Celebrate the spooky season with your significant other or even just a friend at Steve's Wine Bar in Denton. This Halloween edition of Paint Your Partner Night lets you decide what creepy character your partner should be for Halloween. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show was produced and edited by Shardae White and Becca Moore. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter. That's written by our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Stay up to date during elections with our Voter's Guide at keranews.org and connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at KERATX. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.